Welcome, my fellow Despicable Me and Minion fans. This video is the first step to my plan to steal all the subscribers on YouTube. Now, let's get this video started. So, of course, I'll be ranking the characters from the Despicable Me and Minions movies in terms of how powerful they are in a fight, or just overall evilness or hero-ness, if that's a word. Basically, how well they do in combat. So, let's see, I'm gonna go from the bottom up as usual, but this time I'm doing it live! So the first person at the bottom of the list is Gru Jr., the baby. So, not much of a surprise, babies can't do much besides poop in their pants. He did subdue Lenny, the honey badger, but that was only because he fed it, not because he defeated it in battle. And so next is another thing not too surprising is Pollito the chicken. This was a vicious chicken, so I think it could take a baby, but it really can't do any damage to any larger child or adult. I don't even know if it could kill the baby, but the baby probably can't kill it either, and it would be more of a nuisance because of its flight, and it could just flap around and peck your eyes out or something. I don't know. Would you rather get baby poop on you or have your eye pecked out by a chicken? I'll let you decide. So next up is another animal. Not sure what species this is, but Kyle. It's something like a dog, Gru's pet. And it has some vicious looking teeth and a nasty temper, but it could not do any damage to Gru, and it was overpowered by Agnes, which is why Agnes goes right above it. Now Agnes is just a little kid and can't do much, so that's why she's down here. And now above Agnes is her older sister. Where is she? Where is she? Which sister will it be? And I can't find it. Oh, there she is, Margot, the oldest. Surprise, surprise, not the next one up. And that's just because Margot just really doesn't have any feats. She doesn't do anything. And as a young girl, she doesn't go any higher. And now, next is Antonio, her crush that she had for a little while. So he doesn't do much either, but he does get into a little scuffle with Gru, and he is not afraid of cheap shots and kicked Gru right in his family jewels. So he could go right above her. And now, next is we're gonna age it up a little, and Sensei O'Sullivan from the new movie Despicable Me 4. He has some surprising acrobatics. Looking at his figure, it's quite surprising he could pull those off. And with that mass and that speed coming at you, he could probably do some damage, but unfortunately, the only thing that really happened to him in combat is having his toe broken by a little girl, and that is why Edith goes right above him. So, yeah, she stomped on his foot and broke his toe, and that's why she goes above her sisters as well. She is more, let's say, inclined for combat. I think she is more of the aggressive type. Mine's shaped like a dead guy. After her, we have Professor Flux. So, this guy is, not much for combat, doesn't have any, strength showings, but he has the ability, he's very smart, and he had the ability to create time travel where he could bring his future selves back in time to help him. So he could basically bring an army of himself to fight you if he needed to. But like I said, he can't do much, and he's actually very easy to kill. He accidentally killed himself, which is surprising. These movies are children's movies, but he literally just straight up snapped his neck. So yeah, that was a interesting part of the movie. One of my favorite parts of the Minions movie. And so above him is Shannon, and she's above him because on the opposite end of the spectrum, she is almost impossible to kill. She was horrendously abused and misused by Gru and Lucy, being dragged around in their car and smashed into things, and it was horrendous. I can't believe they treated a woman like that. And besides that, she also has the power to do one-hand push-ups. That's pretty impressive. So incredible durability, solid strength, top of the civilian tier. Okay, moving up next to the Minion tier. The bottom is we're gonna have Lenny the Honey Badger, because they just don't care. And, you know, vicious teeth, and they'll shred the people below apart, possibly. I mean, you know, Shannon might be impervious, but yeah, the rest are probably dead. Maybe O'Sullivan with a triple backflip crushing it might do something. So after the Honey Badger is Drew, the twin brother of Gru. He's basically an incompetent version of Gru, but he does have a bunch of technology and equipment and money and seemingly an immortal butler. So he does save Gru by the end of the movie. He saves him from being lasered by a giant mech. So I guess he deserves to be in Minion tier, but I suppose I could see him being dropped down to civilian tier if he doesn't have any of his equipment or anything like that. Okay, next we got Poppy. She is a very good at Dance Dance Revolution, very acrobatic. She's just learning to become a villain, and she was pretty impressive, very intelligent. She's already building her own equipment, and she can make pop-up picture things with paper. I wouldn't know how to do that, so good on her. And next, the Minions, just also all the basic Minions. We got Kevin, Stuart, and Bob here from the Minions movies, basically your average Minion. They're pretty much immortal, these Minions. They could take as much punishment as you could imagine and just come back smiling and laughing. And in attack power, you could probably put them in civilian tier, but they're just going to outlast everybody, even Shannon. And if you want to talk about attack power, this trio was given equipment by some villains in the first Minions movie, Scarlet's husband, and they were pretty decent with those. I would say in attack power and abilities, they would probably be at least in this tier with those, if not a tier higher, actually. So around here is good for them. And then at the top of this tier is Dr. Nefario. He doesn't do much, but he's a genius that can create a bunch of useful inventions, such as the fart gun. That is a deadly weapon. Now, moving up to the Henchman tier, at the bottom, we got the Nelson family. They're a family of villains, and they're not afraid to get down and dirty and rob a bank or whatever they need to do. And they've got plenty of weapons, so I think they could take any of the people below. They're competent villains, at least I think they're competent, semi-competent, and yeah, so they're above the ones below, okay? And then above them is Mr. Perkins the banker. He can crush an apple with his grip strength. That's pretty strong, so he's definitely the strongest up until this point, but he doesn't do much besides that. But I would assume he could beat up everyone below. And above him, Dumo the Sumo, along with all of the other villains in the first Minions movie. They're basically low-level villains, but you know, they were able to chase around the Minions. They're above the Minions. But they're vastly below Scarlet Overkill, so something like this is a good spot for them. And around their level is Wild Knuckles Henchmen. They're also above the Minions, being able to beat them up and one smashed right through a brick wall. So around their level, I suppose some of the henchmen and some of the villains could be interchangeable, but they're all around this level. And then above them is Gru's mom. She is pretty powerful. She could trains some sort of martial art and can kick a bag pretty hard, sending a guy flying. So she's around this level too. And top of this tier is the Queen of England. She was able to defeat Stuart in battle, and she could casually overpower an adult man in an arm wrestle. So she's around this level as well. Moving up to the villain tier. Bottom of the villain tier is Vector. He really doesn't do anything combat-wise. He's kind of a buffoon, but he does have some good weaponry and technology that could help him. Like, he has a gliding suit, he has a piranha and squid gun and whatnot, and he has a lot of resources at his disposal, so he should be able to deal with everyone below him. And then above him is El Macho. As of Despicable Me 2, he's gained some weight, he's out of shape, he's not what he once used to be. But he's still probably more competent than Vector. And next, the purple Minions. Once given the serum, they became basically indestructible killing machines, and even El Macho is afraid of them, so that's why they go above El Macho. And above them is Lucy Wilde. She has some pretty decent equipment. She's basically a secret agent that fights villains. She was able to knock out Gru with her lipstick taser, and those lipstick tasers can take out purple creatures. So she should be able to beat them, at least one of them. And the reason why I don't have her up there with Gru, you know, Gru was kind of not taking her seriously and was calling out what he was doing, which she even admitted that's why she was able to counter him. But yeah, I mean, I suppose she could be argued up, but the reason why I did not put her up is because she lost to the principal of the villain school and her wheelchair of doom. She has a wheelchair that can attack you. It can become a giant cart thing and run you over. But yeah, she got the better of Lucy from what I recall in the 4th movie, so she goes right above Lucy. And then above her, I'm going to put the Vicious Six. Or technically, I think it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 after they kicked out Knuckles. So they were all a group of, competent villains. And one of them was flipping cars, and they were all attacking and overpowering the minions. And one of them, the nun, like Nunchuck or whatever her name is, she got the better of Gru's mom, so she goes a tier above Gru's mom. Ooh, sorry, my evil cat's getting in the way. And then the next is, we got top of this tier, Wild Knuckles, the last member of the Vicious Six, but he was kicked out of his own group. He was extremely skilled in combat and even managed to fight against the other Vicious Six members after they turned into Zodiac monsters. And he was also able to fight off multiple crocodiles, but he was going to get eaten by them if Gru didn't save him. And Gru, on the other hand, could smack sharks away with a single hand, so he's definitely not up on the tier with adult Gru. So now we're going to move up to the super villain tier. At the bottom, the super villain tier, I can't even see them right now because I've got a cat in my face. I got the Vicious Six members in their Zodiac forms. And so basically they transform to become giant Zodiac monsters, dragon, cow, monkey, tiger, cobra, powerful and vicious animals, and they are like 10 times bigger than what they should be, or much bigger than that actually. Yeah, and the strongest one is probably the dragon being able to breathe fire and whatnot, but they were all a similar level. But they still had some trouble with Wild Knuckles, and one of them actually got knocked out for a second by Kid Gru getting hit over the head with a clock thing. So yeah, they are strong, but not top tier yet. They're pretty decently strong though. And then up above them is I've got Prime Macho, El Macho in his prime. He was able to do heights with his bare hands alone. He's extremely strong physically. And he actually, if this is true, the surviving the volcano thing, he did fake his death, but if he actually went into that volcano with all that dynamite on him, blew up and tanked that, and then pretended he died, he could arguably be higher, but he might have faked that entire thing and might have not actually been there. But still, he was supposed to be an extremely strong villain. So assuming he's as strong as like lifting up a truck and whatnot as it showed in the flashback scene, I think he could go right around here. And even if he couldn't actually do that, after taking the serum and becoming Purple El Macho, who looks extremely close to Grimace, he basically became indestructible, so he probably could actually survive that volcano explosion, or maybe, we don't know. But yeah, he became extremely physically strong, probably could easily pick up a truck like that. And the only problem is that he was easily taken out by a lipstick taser. So that was kind of pathetic. And basically, so he's just a mindless brute. And I think any of the villains above can use their intelligence and technology and skill to take him out. And another purple villain, Balthazar Brat. He is a very skilled villain, able to dodge and do a bunch of acrobatic stuff, has a bunch of really good technology, bubblegum related, and some not bubblegum related technology. And he was able to defeat a bunch of agents. He was able to match a Gru in a dance battle. He could take your clothes off with a guitar, and that is really embarrassing. So I think he can defeat El Macho with his wits and skill and technology. And if not, he does have his giant mech that would crush El Macho probably, or laser him. So there's that. And then right above him, I'm gonna put the new villain, Maxime Le Mal. So like Balthazar, he also has a giant mech, so they're about even on that front. But he has hybridized himself with the most dangerous and powerful creature on this earth, the cockroach. So he could fly basically on his own. He has sharp arm things that he almost sliced Gru's face off with one. And so he's very dangerous in close combat, can fly, has his technology. So yeah, he is basically probably more deadly than Balthazar because he has similar equipment, similar skill, but he actually has a body that's dangerous and deadly. So that's just one bonus, as being a cockroach man is just a bonus. And then right above him, Scarlet Overkill. She was the best villain of her age. She was able to beat up a bunch of other villains at the same time easily. And she has a bulletproof jet rocket dress that can also shoot missiles and even has a mini nuke installed. So overall, she has the best equipment, and that's like all right strapped to her body. That probably makes her the top of above all these other ones below her. But there is one more in the supervillain tier that goes even above her, and that is Gru. And that is because Gru, he stole the moon. He's accomplished the greatest thing any villain could ever wish for. As well as when he was a kid, he froze Scarlet Overkill, just showing that he is the superior villain. And let's not forget his dad amp. He was powered up by the power of dad, and he was able to dodge multiple missiles coming at him very easily. He one-shot a shark with a punch. He is an unstoppable machine when he's protecting his girls. So yeah, he is the top of this tier, the ultimate villain. But there is one more tier above, the superhero tier. And who is in this? Bottom of this tier is Master Chow. Of course, every Asian in every series has to know some sort of martial art, apparently, and she is no different. She is a master of martial arts, Kung Fu, I believe, master of acupuncture as well, so she knows her pressure points. She taught the Minions everything they learned for the end of the movie that helped them defeat the Vicious Six. So she goes a level above them with her Master Kung Fu power. And of course, above her are the Minions she taught, Kevin, Bob, and Stuart, because they learned her powers, but they still have their immortal minion bodies. So that's just one up on her. Eventually she would tire out, need food or something. These minions, they just do not die. They are mortal creatures, and now they know Kung Fu. So they go above her. And then above them, I mean, this is could be argued either way, but Giant Kevin. So after doing a bunch of complicated things inside of a machine, he became a Giant Kevin, and he easily defeated Scarlet Overkill, so he goes a level above her. He survived the nuke, not surprising because these guys will survive anything, and now he's Giant. So he is above everyone below him because he's an unstoppable giant monster. And I suppose these two might be able to do something. At least it could be a stalemate between him and the Kung Fu Minions. So yeah, but at the very top of the list is the Mega Minions from Despicable Me 4, the new set of superpowered minions. Now, the reason they're at the top is the one minion with the laser eyes, basically Cyclops, he literally cut a beam through the planet. Which is basically the most impressive feat in the entire series. And then the Thing-looking one just tanked that and took no damage. So at least these two, they are above all of the rest of the series because one has the highest attack power and one has the highest defense. And then I'm just going to assume the others are on their level. Maybe they're not. If they're not, they could be lower. But those two are definitely top tier. The one on the very right here, he's like super strength. So logically, he should be stronger than that one, or physically stronger than the Thing one, because if not, then he just is worse in every way. But then there's like the Mr. Fantastic one who stretches, and then there's the flying one. So all the superpowered minions, they're probably at the top. They're unbeatable, immortal, undefeatable, just killing, annoying, talking machines. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole list. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to subscribe and join my master plan to steal all the subscribers on YouTube, go ahead and do that. And thank you for watching. Have a good day and stay evil.
Luca! Bueno?